Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button, so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks.
My name is Natalie. I'm from Chicago, and I used to believe that silence was the worst thing in the world until I heard what silence had been hiding. They say, be careful what you wish for. I wished for my hearing. I prayed for it, begged for it. I thought it would bring me closer to the man I loved. But the very first day I got it back, I found out what he really thought of me. And once you hear the truth, you can never unhear it. You want a blessing? Sometimes a curse wears a smile. I guess you have everything. Hop, I screamed, slamming the kitchen drawer shut so hard the spoons rattled. The house, the money. And now my voice doesn't even matter to you anymore. James turned around, eyes wide like I'd slapped him. Oh, so now you're yelling. What happened to sweet little Natalie, who just nodded and smiled like a good wife? I got my hearing back. James. I hissed. I'm not nodding through life anymore. He scoffed, leaning against the counter like I was an inconvenience. Oh, right? The miracle. How could I forget? I should have known once you could hear again, you'd start talking too much. I stepped forward, my chest heaving. Talking? You mean standing up for myself? No, I mean nagging, complaining, looking for problems where there aren't any. I stared at him, and for the first time in years, I heard what he truly was. His words weren't just noise anymore, they cut. They had edges, and they were sharp. Last night, I said, my voice low, shaking, I heard what you told Logan. You didn't know I was behind the door. You didn't know I could hear now. He straightened slightly. His jaw tightened. What are you talking about? You said. I swallowed, every word clawing its way up my throat. You said she was easier when she couldn't hear. At least then I didn't have to listen to her dumb ideas and dreams. A long silence fell between us. Then he laughed, a short, bitter sound. Oh, come on, Nat. It was a joke. I flinched. A joke. Yeah, guys talk like that sometimes. Just venting. You're being way too sensitive. I walked away from him, pacing in a small circle in the kitchen, holding myself together by a thread. You also said she should be grateful I stayed with her. No one else would. You said you felt like you were doing a good deed. Is that a joke too? He didn't answer. That silence hurt worse than the words. You pitied me, I whispered. For years. His voice came quieter now. Look, it's not like that. You were different back then. You needed me. I still need you, I said. I just thought you loved me. Double quotes. James rubbed his forehead, then turned with a sigh. You think this has been easy for me? I've sacrificed too. You're not the only one who gave something up. Oh, really? I snapped, heat flaring in my chest. What did you give up? James, your patience, your image. You stayed with a deaf girl and wanted a trophy for it. He winced, finally looking at me straight. I didn't sign up to be your caregiver. Natalie, I married a woman, not a cause. I stood there, stunned. Every good memory with him cracked like thin glass in my head. You know what's funny? I said quietly. I used to imagine what your voice sounded like. Back when I couldn't hear, I'd imagine it was warm, kind. I'd read your lips and dream that the words were filled with love. I looked up at him, tears stinging the corners of my eyes. I was wrong. He looked away. Stop being dramatic. I laughed bitterly. You want me to be quiet again. Is that it? You liked me better silent. Didn't you? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I took a step back, suddenly realizing how heavy the air had become. You didn't love me, I said. You loved the version of me that couldn't challenge you, that couldn't speak back, that couldn't hear you disrespecting her. His expression hardened. You're twisting everything. No, I'm finally hearing everything. He walked out of the room. Just like that. Not a sorry. Not even an ounce of guilt. And I stood in that kitchen, alone, with the one thing I'd prayed for, hearing. But it didn't feel like a miracle anymore. If you've ever wished for something so badly, only to realize it came with a price, you're not alone. If you've ever been silenced, overlooked, or made to feel like your voice didn't matter, let this be your reminder. Your voice has power, and once you learn the truth, don't ever be afraid to speak it. Stay with me, because what happened after that night, it didn't just change my marriage. It changed me. And when you hear what I did next, you'll understand why silence was never the enemy. The lie was. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed beside a man who had spent years pretending to love me, while secretly resenting every second. My ears, newly blessed, newly opened, picked up every tiny sound, the hum of a ceiling fan, the shifting of sheets, the way his breathing slowed as he drifted off without a care. He didn't even try to apologize. And the cruelest part, a small part of me still wanted him to turn over. Say he was sorry, pull me close, lie to me again, just a little softer this time. Because even though I'd finally heard the truth, I wasn't ready to face it. My name is Natalie, and for 10 years, I thought I was living in a love story. Turns out, I was just a quiet, background character in his asterisk. When I was a teenager, I lost my hearing after a severe fever damaged my auditory nerves. At first, they said it might come back, but weeks turned into months. Silence settled like fog. Friends drifted, dreams shifted, the world grew quieter, and colder. James came into my life when I was at my most vulnerable. I was 21. He was charming, confident, and most of all, unbothered. While others talked around me, he made an effort to talk to me. Wrote little notes, learned some sign language, smiled like I wasn't broken. When someone treats you like you're whole after the world makes you feel shattered, you cling to them. You build a home out of that attention, no matter how temporary it might be. I thought James was my miracle. But I understand now. I wasn't his miracle. I was his project. His proof to the world that he was a good guy. Look at him, married to the deaf girl. How noble. How kind. He liked how people praised him. How I made him look. And I was just grateful to be chosen. When we got married, he insisted on handling everything. The vows, the speeches, even the music. Don't stress, he said. I got you. What I didn't realize then was that he didn't want me to have a say. He just wanted a story. But let me be honest, I didn't notice all the signs at first. Because love covers your eyes long before it covers your heart. There were comments, little jabs. You're lucky I'm patient. You didn't catch that? Of course you didn't. Let me speak, for you people don't get your expressions. And every time I tried to protest, he'd smile and say, I'm just joking, babe. Don't get upset. And I didn't. For years, I didn't. But when the doctor told me there was a new cochlear implant trial available, my entire body lit up with hope, a second chance, a way to hear music again, the ocean, maybe one day, my own children's laughter. James didn't say no, but he didn't say yes with joy either. He nodded, supported me on the outside. But every step of the process, I felt the distance between us stretch. Are you sure you want this? He asked once. What if you end up disappointed? I thought he was trying to protect me. I didn't realize he was protecting his control. Asterisk, and when the surgery worked, when the device was turned on, and the sounds came flooding in, oh, I cried. I sobbed in that little sterile room, clutching the audiologist's hands while James stood in the corner, half smiling. Asterisk, I was hearing again. Asterisk, and that first night, I heard the dishwasher, the creak of the floorboards, the car horn outside. I stayed up until 3 a.m. just walking around the house, listening to the world I had lost. Asterisk, but the very next night, I heard him, asterisk, on the phone, in the guest room, whispering to his best friend, Logan, like I was a burden. Asterisk, honestly, she was easier deaf. Bro, I mean, it was peaceful. Now she's got opinions and moods. I feel like I lost control of the mute button. Asterisk, they laughed. Asterisk, I stood frozen in the hallway, pressing my hand to the wall like it might hold me up. Asterisk, then he said it. The one line that kept echoing like a gunshot in my chest. Asterisk, she should be grateful I stuck around. No one else would have. Asterisk, that's when something in me snapped. Asterisk, I didn't confront him right then. I couldn't. My hands were shaking too hard. My mouth went dry. Asterisk, but I knew right then. The man I'd loved for a decade had never really loved me. Not the real me. He loved the quiet version, the compliant version. The Natalie who couldn't hear when he said things that would break her. Asterisk, now I could hear. Asterisk, and he couldn't hide anymore. Asterisk, the next morning, I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. I looked the same, but something had changed. Something had to. Asterisk, because I wasn't going to keep pretending anymore. Asterisk, and what I did next. Asterisk, let's just say, the silence was over. Asterisk, I didn't scream. Asterisk, I didn't cry. Asterisk, I didn't pack my bags or threaten to leave. Asterisk, I played along. Asterisk, because for the first time in years, I had something he didn't know. I knew the truth. And knowledge, when you've been blindfolded for a decade, is power. Asterisk, he still thought I couldn't hear. He still mumbled cruel little things under his breath when we argued. Still whispered to his friends on the phone while I pretended to be reading. Still made decisions without asking me. Assuming silence meant agreement. Asterisk, but I had ears now. And I wasn't just listening. I was watching. Asterisk, that week, I started writing everything down. Every comment, every name he dropped, every late-night phone call. I learned how to use the voice memo app on my phone and would leave it recording when I went to bed, and he stayed up working. Asterisk, funny how easy it is to play dumb when people think you're already dumb. Asterisk, I wasn't dumb. I was deaf. There's a difference. Asterisk, and now I was neither. Asterisk, one afternoon, he came home and tossed his briefcase on the kitchen counter. Didn't look at me. Didn't kiss me. Just said, asterisk, we've got a dinner Friday. My boss is hosting a thing. Don't wear anything flashy. Just look nice. Asterisk, not would you like to go? Not do you feel up to it? Asterisk, just an order. Like always. Asterisk, I smiled. Nodded. Played the quiet, agreeable wife. Asterisk, but inside, I was boiling. Asterisk, because I knew what that dinner was. Asterisk, it wasn't his boss's thing. Asterisk, it was his affair's birthday party. Asterisk, yes, that's right. Asterisk, I heard the name Melanie on a Tuesday. I heard the way he said it. Soft, low, smiling. Asterisk, I'll see you Friday. Mel. Make sure you wear that black dress I like. Asterisk, he didn't. No, I was on the other side of the door. Asterisk, he didn't know I was recording. Asterisk, and by Friday, I had a plan. Asterisk, I wore the red dress he hated. Said it made me look like I was trying too hard. Asterisk, I curled my hair, the way I like it. Asterisk, put on heels. A bold lip. Asterisk, when I walked out, His jaw clenched. Asterisk, didn't I say something simple? Asterisk, I smiled, slow and steady. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Asterisk, he flinched. Just a little. Asterisk, I wanted him to wonder. Just enough. Not panic. Not yet. Just squirm. Asterisk, the venue was a rooftop restaurant downtown. Fancy. Pretentious. All. Surface. Just like him. Asterisk, and there she was. Melanie. Mid-30s. Blonde. Laughing like she owned the room. Asterisk, I recognized her voice immediately. I had listened to it in whispers for days. Heard her giggle in the background while he told her how exhausting I was. Asterisk, I played nice. Asterisk shook her hand. Complimented her earrings. Asterisk let James brag about his new promotion, about his supportive wife, while she smiled like she knew something I didn't. Asterisk, but I knew everything. Asterisk, then came the speeches. James raised his glass to the people who've stuck by me through thick and thin. He thanked Melanie for always being there, even when others didn't understand. Asterisk, he didn't even glance at me. Asterisk, and right then, I decided. This was it. No more pretending. Asterisk, I took out my phone, hit play on the recording, and set it on the table. Loud, clear, his voice filled the air. Asterisk, she was easier deaf. I feel like I lost control of the mute button. Asterisk, you could have heard a pin drop. Asterisk, Melanie's smile vanished. Asterisk, his face turned gray. Asterisk, he lunged for the phone. But I was faster. I grabbed it, stood, and looked him right in the eye for the first time in years. Asterisk, you said I should be grateful, you. Stuck around? No. James, you should have been grateful. I couldn't hear. Because the second I did, I finally heard the man you really are. Asterisk gasps. Whispers. Phones coming out. Someone recording. Asterisk, I wasn't the quiet wife anymore. Asterisk, I was done being silent. Asterisk, and in that moment, as he stood there humiliated in front of his lover, his colleagues, his friends, I didn't feel broken. I felt powerful. Asterisk, because the real betrayal wasn't just the cheating. Asterisk, it was every time he looked me in the eye and smiled, while secretly resenting everything I was. Asterisk, I turned and walked out of that restaurant with my head high and my heels clicking like thunder. Behind me, Asterisk, he followed. Of course he followed. Asterisk, Natalie, stop. Don't do this here. Asterisk, why not? I snapped. Isn't this what you wanted? The grateful deaf girl finally gone. You can go run back to Melanie. Tell her how loud I've gotten. Asterisk, he grabbed my wrist. Not hard, just enough to try and assert control, like he always did. Asterisk, but this time, I yanked it back. Asterisk, don't touch me. Asterisk, you're overreacting. Asterisk, I was underreacting for 10 years. This is me catching up. Asterisk, he was sweating. Now eyes darting. Scared not of losing me, but of what I might say next. Asterisk, and that told me everything. Asterisk, he didn't love me. He never feared losing me. Asterisk, he only feared being exposed. Asterisk, and guess what? Asterisk, that was just the beginning. Asterisk, because I wasn't just walking away. Asterisk, I was taking everything he thought I was too weak to claim. Asterisk. Asterisk, I didn't go home that night. Asterisk, not to his home, at least. Asterisk, I drove to a hotel I'd booked 2 days prior, the same day I heard him laugh about my silence, to his friend. Asterisk, I had a plan, and for once, I had no intention of explaining it to anyone. Asterisk, my ears worked. My spine had returned. Asterisk, and James. Asterisk, he had no idea what storm was coming. Asterisk, the next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls. Asterisk, 12 texts. Asterisk, all the same rhythm. We need to talk. Please come home. You're blowing this out of proportion. I love you. Natalie, asterisk, it's amazing how fast they remember your value once you show them you're not afraid to leave. Asterisk, but his words were noise now, and I had spent enough of my life in silence. Asterisk, by noon. I was in a lawyer's office. Asterisk, by 2. The papers were in progress. Asterisk, by evening. I had opened my own bank account, changed my locks, and transferred every dollar from the joint savings into a legal holding account my lawyer set up. Asterisk, James liked to say I didn't know how to handle money. Asterisk, funny. I just handled everything in one afternoon. Asterisk, but I wasn't ready for what came next. Asterisk, it wasn't from him. Asterisk, it was from her. Asterisk, James's mother, Eleanor. Asterisk, she called while I was eating takeout on the edge of the hotel bed. I almost declined the call until I remembered something she once whispered to me years ago at our wedding. Asterisk, you remind me of myself before I stopped making excuses. Asterisk, so I answered. Asterisk, her voice was calm, shaky, but steady. Asterisk, I heard what happened at the restaurant. She said, you don't owe me your time, but I need to tell you something before he twists it. Asterisk, I said nothing. Asterisk, let her speak. Asterisk, she didn't hesitate. Asterisk, I stayed married to his father for 30 years, she began, but only 5 of those were good. The rest? Survival. You know what he used to call me when he thought I couldn't hear? Deadweight. Asterisk, my throat tightened. I didn't know what to say. Asterisk, Eleanor went on. James learned early that control feels like love when no one teaches him the difference. I tried. God, I tried. But I failed. I let him watch his father belittle me, silence me, cheat on me, and stay married anyway. Asterisk, she paused. Asterisk, I saw you. Natalie, I saw the same look in your eyes I had every time we had dinner, every time you smiled to fast, every time you sat to still. I saw it. I just didn't have the courage to say something. Asterisk, tears slid down my face, silently. Asterisk, she wasn't done. Asterisk, he's not going to stop. Not until you make him stop. Not until you take your story back from him. Because he's counting on your shame, your silence. Don't let him win the way. I let his father win. Asterisk, I whispered. I'm not. Asterisk, she said. Good. I'm proud of you. And if you need anything, a witness, a voice, a history, you call me. Asterisk, that call changed everything. Asterisk, because for the first time, I realized this wasn't just about me. Asterisk, this was generational. Asterisk, a pattern, a sickness, a legacy. Asterisk, and I was the one woman strong enough to break it. Asterisk, asterisk, 2 days later, I went back to the house with my lawyer, to movers, and a police officer. Asterisk, James was waiting on the porch, arms crossed, eyes bloodshot. Asterisk, he tried to smile. You made your point. You embarrassed me. Now, let's talk like adults. Asterisk, I handed him the court order. Asterisk, no. James, I'm done talking. Asterisk, he looked down at the papers like they were written in another language. Asterisk, his mouth twitched. Asterisk, you're divorcing me? Asterisk, no. I already did. This is just the paperwork. Asterisk, he started shouting. The neighbor stepped out of her door to watch. Asterisk, he realized it and lowered his voice, seething instead. Asterisk, you think you can just throw away 10 years? Asterisk, you threw it away when you decided my ears didn't matter. Asterisk, the officer stepped between us when he took one step too close. Asterisk, and just like that, the man who used to tower over me in silence, asterisk, shrank. Asterisk, he knew it was over. Asterisk, and for once, he didn't have a single word that could stop me. As I walked through the house, collecting what little of me was left inside those walls, I found something tucked in the back of my dresser drawer. A note. Asterisk, gold. Torn. Asterisk, from when we first got married. Asterisk, I know you can't hear me, but I hope you feel me. I'll always protect you. Love, James. Asterisk I folded it. Slid it in my bag. Asterisk not to remember him, but to remember me. Asterisk to remember the version of myself who once believed that lie. Asterisk because sometimes the scariest thing in the world isn't losing someone. Asterisk it's realizing they never really saw you in the first place. Asterisk. Asterisk I thought I was free. Asterisk for the first time in 10 years, I could sleep without jumping at every floorboard creak or analyzing the tone of a door slam. Asterisk the hotel room felt like a coffin at first, but by the end of the week, it felt more like a cocoon. Asterisk I'd turned in the papers. I'd taken my name off the mortgage. Asterisk I'd started therapy. Asterisk I even got a job. Not glamorous, but mine. Asterisk every step I took was like stepping onto a frozen lake. Terrified it would crack. Asterisk but it held. Asterisk until one afternoon when the crack finally came, not from beneath me, but from behind. Asterisk my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. Asterisk I almost let it go to voicemail, but something inside me said, answer. Asterisk hello? I said. Asterisk there was silence. Then a soft voice. A woman. Asterisk is this Natalie? Asterisk I hesitated. Asterisk yes. Who's this? Asterisk she took a breath so deep I could feel the hesitation through the line. Asterisk my name's Harper. I'm not sure how to say this. I don't want to hurt you more than you've already been hurt. Asterisk the air thickened around me. Asterisk just say it. Asterisk she whispered. Asterisk I was seeing James. For about 6 months. I didn't know he was married at first. And when I found out, he told me awful things about you. Things I didn't question at the time. But I saw the video. From the restaurant. Asterisk my hands went numb. Asterisk I'm sorry. She said, voice breaking. He said you were mentally unstable. That you were abusive. That you couldn't hear because you refused to listen. I believed him. I didn't even question it. Asterisk I sat down on the bed like my spine had vanished. Asterisk this was the final blow. Not because it surprised me. Asterisk, but because it confirmed what I'd feared all along. Asterisk the things he said to me in private. Asterisk he said to others, too. Asterisk but worse. Asterisk I asked, why are you telling me this now? Asterisk she was quiet. Asterisk because I found out I'm pregnant. Asterisk my stomach lurched. Asterisk she continued. I told him, and he told me to get rid of it. Just like that. No emotion. No pause. Said he wasn't ready for a repeat of his first mistake. I asked what that meant, and he said, Natalie was a charity case I carried for a decade. Asterisk I didn't cry. Asterisk not this time. Asterisk I'd run out of tears. Asterisk I said, softly, thank you for telling me. Asterisk she said, I had to. I'm keeping the baby, and I refuse to raise a child built on lies. I had to know the truth, and now I do. Asterisk she sent me screenshots. Asterisk recordings. Asterisk messages. Asterisk enough to fill a courtroom. Enough to show who he really was when no one was watching, or when he thought no one was listening. Asterisk I filed for a protective order the next day. Asterisk for me and Harper. Asterisk we weren't friends. Asterisk we were survivors. Asterisk a week later, James showed up at my new apartment. Asterisk banging on the door, shouting loud enough for the whole building to hear. Asterisk I know you're in there. I just want to talk. Asterisk my neighbor came out first. Then another. Asterisk I stepped out too, with the officer I had called 10 minutes prior already standing beside me. Asterisk James, I said calmly, you don't live here. You don't own me. And you don't get to talk to me without my permission. Asterisk he looked around, suddenly aware of the crowd. Asterisk look what she's doing to me. He shouted, this is a circus. I gave her everything. Asterisk the officer stepped forward. Asterisk sir, step away. or you'll be charged with harassment. Asterisk. And that's when I said the words I've been holding back. Asterisk, you didn't give me everything. You gave me trauma wrapped in diamonds. You gave me loneliness in a shared bed. You gave me silence when I begged to be heard. And now, you're going to get what you gave. Asterisk, he laughed, bitter and wild. What? Revenge? Asterisk, no. I said, justice. Asterisk, he was served that same night with restraining orders, financial claims, and documents that forced him into public hearings. Asterisk, he tried to act shocked. Asterisk, but deep down, I think he knew this was always coming. Asterisk, what he didn't expect. Asterisk was that Harper, his mistress, showed up to the hearing. Asterisk, and when asked why she was testifying on my behalf, she said something I'll never forget. Asterisk, because she didn't deserve what I helped do to her. And if I stay silent now, then I'm no better than he is. Asterisk, James didn't even look at me after that. Asterisk, because for a man like him, losing control is the one thing he never forgives. Asterisk, but I wasn't asking for his forgiveness. Asterisk, I never would again. Asterisk, you know. People think getting your hearing back is about sound. Asterisk, it's not. Asterisk, it's about truth. Asterisk, it's about realizing how loud the world can be once you finally stop ignoring what you already knew in your gut. Asterisk, it's about hearing your own voice and saying, no more. Asterisk, that's what freedom sounds like. Asterisk, not silence. Asterisk, but the roar of your own power returning. Asterisk. Asterisk, my name is Natalie. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Asterisk, and I want to tell you something important, especially if you're in a place I once was. Asterisk, especially if you're still with someone who thinks silence equals peace. Asterisk it DOESN single quotes T dot asterisk silence can be the most violent sound in the world when it's the only thing you ever hear in your own home. Asterisk, I used to think I was broken. Asterisk, I told myself that lie for years, that maybe I was the problem. Asterisk, that if I just worked harder, kept quieter, dressed better, listened more, maybe he'd love me like he used to. Asterisk, maybe he'd look at me the way he did when he slipped that ring on my finger. Asterisk, but now I know the truth. Asterisk, I wasn't broken. Asterisk, I was just muffled. Asterisk by him. Asterisk by fear. Asterisk by the stories I've been told about what it means to be a good wife. Asterisk, you know the kind, the ones that say, stick it out, sacrifice, swallow your pride, make it work. Asterisk, but sometimes, asterisk, making it work means walking away. Asterisk, 3 months after the court hearing. I stood in front of a classroom for the first time. Asterisk, not as a student, not as a client. Asterisk, but as a teacher. Asterisk, a volunteer instructor for a local center that helps women recovering from abusive relationships regain employment and confidence. Asterisk, funny, right? Asterisk, I used to think I had nothing worth teaching. Asterisk, but now I realize survival is the greatest curriculum in the world. Asterisk, one of the women asked me, how did you finally leave? Asterisk, and I told her the truth. Asterisk, it wasn't one moment. It was 1,000 tiny cuts that eventually became one big wound I refused to ignore anymore. Asterisk, but wasn't it hard? She asked. Asterisk, it still is. I said, but I'd rather struggle in freedom than sleep peacefully in a cage. Asterisk, and James, asterisk, he lost his job after the harassment reports went public. Asterisk, turns out investors don't like men who manipulate women and scream at them outside apartments in broad daylight. Asterisk, he tried to reach out once more. Asterisk sent me a voicemail saying, I'm not the monster you made me out to be. Asterisk, and I didn't even reply. Asterisk, because healing doesn't require confrontation. Asterisk, it requires boundaries. Asterisk, and I'd finally built some. Asterisk, asterisk. But there's one moment I want to tell you about. Asterisk, the moment I knew I was healed. Asterisk, it wasn't dramatic. Asterisk, there were no fireworks or courtrooms or ultimatums. Asterisk, it was the day I laughed out loud without flinching. Asterisk, see, when you live in fear for long enough, even joy feels dangerous. Asterisk, but this time, I was sitting on my couch watching some silly stand-up comedy on Netflix. Asterisk, and I laughed. I mean really laughed. Belly deep, ugly laugh. Asterisk, and I didn't cover my mouth. Asterisk, I didn't check over my shoulder. Asterisk, I didn't wonder if someone was going to say, keep it down. Asterisk, I just laughed. Asterisk, and then I cried. Asterisk, because that sound was the sound of someone who got their life back. Asterisk, asterisk, Harper, and I still talk. By the way, asterisk, she had a little girl. Named her Grace. Asterisk, I visit sometimes. We don't talk about James anymore. Asterisk, we talk about healing, about boundaries, about raising daughters who never have to unlearn silence. Asterisk, we don't bond over pain now. Asterisk, we bond over progress. Asterisk, and sometimes she'll say, I still feel so guilty. Asterisk, and I tell her, that means your heart works. That's what makes you different than him. Asterisk, because guilt isn't the enemy. Shame is. Asterisk, and I refuse to carry shame for loving someone who never deserved me. Asterisk, that's not my burden. Asterisk, that's his. Asterisk, asterisk, you know. I thought getting my hearing back would be the end of my pain. Asterisk, but the truth is, it was only the beginning. Asterisk, because hearing isn't just about sound. Asterisk, it's about awareness. Asterisk, I heard the lies. Asterisk, I heard the betrayal. Asterisk, I heard the manipulation in every carefully chosen word. Asterisk, but then I started hearing something else. Asterisk, I heard myself. Asterisk, and let me tell you something. Asterisk, once you hear your own power, you can never unhear it again. Asterisk, asterisk, so if you're listening to this right now, maybe on your drive home, maybe in bed with tears on your pillow, maybe hiding in the bathroom just to get 5 minutes of peace, I want you to hear me. Asterisk, you're not crazy. Asterisk, you're not dramatic. Asterisk, you're not asking for too much. Asterisk, you're not the problem. Asterisk, you are not broken. Asterisk, you are muffled. Asterisk, and it's time to turn the volume up. Asterisk, because you deserve to be heard. Asterisk, you deserve a love that doesn't depend on silence. Asterisk, you deserve peace that isn't purchased by submission. Asterisk, you don't have to wait for a surgery. Asterisk, you don't have to wait for the perfect moment. Asterisk, you just have to believe one simple truth. Asterisk, you matter. Asterisk, even when no one's clapping. Asterisk, even when no one's listening yet. Asterisk, asterisk, I started my story in darkness. Asterisk, but I'm ending it with sound. Asterisk, clear. Asterisk, loud. Asterisk, free. Asterisk, and I'll leave you with this. The moral I wish someone had whispered into my ears when I was too scared to speak. Asterisk, 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 the truth will always find its way to the surface. And when it does, speak it, shout it, sing it. Asterisk, because silence never saved anybody. Asterisk, but your voice. Asterisk, your voice can save you. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, if you've ever felt trapped in silence, share this. Someone out there needs your voice to find their own. Asterisk, comment louder if you're done shrinking to keep the peace. Asterisk, follow for more real stories that don't stay silent. Asterisk.